We're going to go ahead and get started now. I want to welcome everybody to the conference. We're extremely excited to have it again this year. Um, Even though it's virtual, next year, hopefully we'll have virtual and face-to-face for our conferences, but we'll wait and see how that all shakes out. Normally now I would point out where the food is and the restrooms and that stuff, but y'all know that, and we couldn't figure out how to have virtual food delivered to each of you this morning. So we'll work on that for next year. A couple points of interest. We're going to use the chat as a mechanism for any questions that you have for the speakers that for the Q&A, and Angus and Roy will be handling those. So please put your questions in the chat area. We're also going to try something different of having you enter words that you came away with, takeaways that you came away with from the presenters, to put that in the chat as well. Then we'll do a word cloud of that. And then when we post the videos of all the presentations, which we will do in about a week on the supply chain site as well as the education portal, then we'll post the word cloud as well, so that you have that covered. Let's see, I think those were the administrative things that I wanted to go over. Please, just as an emphasis, when you come in, mute your mics, or if you happen to kick them on, mute them so we don't interrupt the speakers or the other attendees. From a scheduling standpoint, you can see it in front of you, have some great speakers. Ananth will be acting as our MC and introducing each one of the individual speakers, but we've got a very action-packed morning of spanning the spectrum of speakers in the supply chain region. Next, I want to go ahead and introduce David Hummels. He's the Dean of the Business School. He's our Dean, and we really appreciate him taking the time to give a brief presentation as a lead into the conference. When David's complete, then Ananth will take over and assume the leadership role for the balance of the conference, as well as he will have some presentations that he will be taking care of as well. So with that, if we want to have David come in, we're set to go.
Hi, everybody. I'm David Hummels. I'm the Dean at the Krannert School of Management and a Professor of Economics. I'd like to welcome you all to our conference on resilience, global supply chain resilience in the age of COVID. A number of years ago, the Asian Development Bank asked me to head up a project on global supply chain resilience, and we were focused there on the effect of natural disasters and the disruption to the Japanese supply chains that happened after the big tsunami and the disaster at the Fukushima nuclear plant. One of the things that we learned from that was, despite this really dramatic shock to the supply chains there, companies found lots and lots of different ways around the problem, offering slightly different products, sourcing slightly different inputs. They were extremely resilient to that. And with that in mind, I thought coming into this COVID thing, we had a real interesting opportunity to think about how it is that companies are really going to adjust and react. I'm really looking forward to learning what you all have to say about the experiences that you've had over the past year, adjusting to really an unprecedented type of disruption, not just because, I mean, clearly the world's had pandemics before, the world has had natural disasters, but it's never had it at a time when supply chains were so closely knit together across borders. So I think there's a lot to learn here, not just for the remainder of the time we have here in the pandemic, but in the years ahead as we think about how disruptions to public health, how disruptions to the politics of moving people and goods across borders is going to make your jobs much harder and really underscore the importance of resilience. So thanks for being here with us. Thanks for the opportunity for us all to learn together.
Okay, welcome. My name is Ananth Iyer, and I have the opportunity to serve as the Academic Director for the Global Supply Chain Management Initiative. Our center is hosting this conference, and so first, I want to join Dean Hummels and Steve Dunlap in welcoming you. If you turn to the next slide, so this is our title, Supply Chain Resilience in the COVID Age, and the emphasis is in the word resilience. As you know, we here at the university have been trying to remain resilient, opening our campus to the best extent possible, investing in seeing to it that our students and faculty are safe, and ensuring that learning takes place so that there is far more interactivity. And companies are facing the same thing as we all recover. So the next slide gives you a quick idea of the speakers we have. So we have, pretty soon you're going to hear from Alex Zelakovsky, who's going to talk to us about his perspectives from the point of view of retail as well as e-commerce and all the technologies required to support growth and to basically impact the bottom line. Bryce Carpenter is going to talk to us from representing Connexus Indiana. Mary Alstott is from ONTAP Consulting. You're going to hear from Tracy Rosser. You're going to hear from Kevin Sheehan. And finally, you're going to hear from Chris Campbell, who's our state representative. You'll notice that every one of our speakers will be bringing in their unique perspective on what they see. And the reason we've assembled this group of experts is, first, they were gracious enough to share the wealth of their time. I think this is particularly relevant given their individual roles in their companies, that they've been gracious enough to share their time with us. Second, with their expertise, they provide a unique vantage point on how to be competitive in this environment. And we, from a school perspective and a center perspective, very much believe that here's where management has an opportunity to shine. There's a lot of uncertainty. There are lots of choices available, and how you recover is a very important parameter. We've been talking a lot about the new normal, and there's a lot of reflection happening in industry, whether the new normal should be the old normal, or whether we can come back in a unique and more effective way. Just as an example, Steve mentioned earlier about how a virtual conference allows far greater engagement. And in fact, for us, this engagement is global, because later on in the afternoon, we have student teams who will be participating, and they are teams spread throughout the world. And it's really this ability to bring students together, speakers together, so that we can learn a lot more. We can sit here in our rooms in various parts across the world and still partake of the expertise that everybody brings to the table. Part of what we hope you'll do is, as Steve said, we really want you to reflect and think about what is the takeaway, what are the questions, and if you have questions above and beyond the timing of this conference, feel free to drop us an email, and we'll be happy to find a way to get back to you. Remember, we're an academic center, which means we're all about creating opportunities for students to learn, for industry to engage with us seamlessly. So if I forget to do this, please remember that at any point in time, if you'd like to learn more, all you need to do is drop an email to the center website, or send an email to Steve or Heidi, and we'll get the ball rolling.